So this is a new month. This is June, and we're starting a new series. These are ancient words with modern wisdom. So we're going to be dealing with some of the teachings of Jesus. You know, Jesus gives us that pathway of finding love in all of our behavior. And he spoke in parables. Are you familiar with that? And his disciples said, "Why are you speaking in parables? Why don't you give it just straight up to them?" And he said, "In parables, I can tell a story, and everybody will get something from the story at their level of consciousness. Those that have eyes to hear will hear. Those that simply need to understand something the outer will understand." So it's a story that has multi-layers. We define parables as earthly stories with a heavenly meaning, or stories of the familiar that light up the profound, that take us to a higher level of consciousness. So we're going to be working on that during the month of June. Are you excited?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to start out with the parable of the talents. So Patrick, if you can hand me the big book, I'll trade with you. Thank you. And I'm using the text in Matthew. It's also in Luke. It's in the Aquarian Gospel. But I figured this is the easiest one for us to follow. This is Matthew 25. Does anybody remember the parable of the talents?
Yes.
Some do. All right. We're starting at chapter 14, or verse 14, chapter 25. A man went on a journey, but before he went, he called his servants and put his wealth in their charge. To one he gave 5 talents, which is a sum of money, I would imagine. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1. To each one according to his ability, and then he departed on his journey. The one who received the 5 talents went and traded them and earned 5 more. Likewise, the second one, by trading, gained 2 more. But he who received 1 went and dug in the ground and hid his Lord's money. After a long time, the Lord of those servants returned and took an accounting from them. And the one who received 5 talents came up and offered 5 others, and said, "My Lord, you gave me 5 talents. Behold, I have added 5 others to them." And his Lord said, "Well done, good and reliable servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will appoint you over much. Enter into your master's joy." Then came the other one with 2 talents. And he said, "My Lord, you have given me 2 talents, and behold, I have added 2 to them." And the Lord said, "Well done, good and reliable servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will appoint you over much. Enter into your master's joy." Isn't that fun? Easy story. Let's just pause for a moment and look at these 2 guys. So we have the 2 and the 5. And the 1. Every one of these people were given according to their abilities. That's what it says in here. What we see is 3 different levels of consciousness. They are operating at levels of awareness of self, and they have a certain capacity to live in that level and to invest that level of energy. Make sense? Okay. We would say that the guy who had the 5 talents lived in a prosperity consciousness, wouldn't we? Mm-hmm. Would you say the man who had the 2 talents lived in a prosperity consciousness? Mm-hmm. Sure. They're both in prosperity consciousness at their level. They're both prospering, and they're both doing exactly what they have the capacity to do. So I'm a 5, I'm going to prosper at a 5. I'm a 2, I'm going to prosper at a 2. Do you understand? And you know people like that, don't you? You know that someone's going to go full bore at everything, someone's not going to go full bore at everything, and you don't really judge them. You just go, yeah, they're a 5, they're a 2. But they're both prosperous and they're both happy. Am I making sense? Mm-hmm. And when you're picking people to help you with certain things, do you go looking for the 2s? Maybe. But don't you try to find someone who is skilled at what you need? Someone who can show forth and give what you need? A friend was sharing a story about a woman who had a dance studio, and it needed to be assisted in the running by the volunteering of the mothers for the special programs. And the owner of the dance studio quickly learned, when you ask the women who do not work and stay home to volunteer, they don't do the job, because their job is to stay home and not do anything. When you ask the woman who is busy, 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 handling everything, taking care of everything, her plate is full, to do the job, they do the job. Because that's what they do. They do the job. Doesn't matter what comes to them, they're going to do it. Do you understand? In our logical mind, we would go, oh, let's ask that woman that has plenty of time. There's a reason she has plenty of time. She needs plenty of time. She does not want to fill that time. So we have twos, we have fives, we have all different levels of consciousness. And the level of consciousness invests what they're capable. There's no harm, there's no one doing anything wrong. It's just what they're capable of doing. Okay. Both of these people shared their energy freely. They were confident, weren't they? They were confident. I'm going to go out there in the world and do what I need to do. And because they gave of what they had, they were now being given an opportunity to have more. Because you've been faithful in what I ask you to do, you've given me what I ask you to do, enter into my joy. Enter into the Master's joy. Because you've been faithful, I will give you more to do. And what energy will they have to help them do greater? The Master's joy. Now you're going to be under my wing. You're tucked up under my wing. Now you use my energy. Now you can be greater. Do you see? Isn't that prosperity consciousness? Mm-hmm. For both of them, for the 5 and the 2. Doesn't matter. They were open, they invested, they received, they got greater. All right. Then we go back to our other little friend. Do you remember him? Mm-hmm. He got the 1. He hid the 1. Now the Master's back. So the one who received the 1 came and said, my Lord, I knew you are a hard man. You reap where you do not sow, and you gather where you do not scatter. Which means he takes advantage of other people's creations. He receives what other people have done. Well, he is the master of that domain, so he would likely do that. So, since you do these things and you are hard, I was afraid. I went and hid your talent in the ground, and here is the very one you gave me. Can you imagine him with his little shaking hand? Ooh, take it back from me, I don't want it. Don't make me do this. So, we have residents. So, his Lord answered and said, O wicked and very lazy servant, you knew me, that I reap where I do not sow, and I gather where I do not scatter. You should have put my money in the exchange, and when I returned, I would have demanded my own with interest. Therefore, take away the talent this man has and give it to the one who has the 10. So, as a child, I really felt so bad for this dude. I was so sorry for him. Why was he being treated so ill? You know, he was just afraid. So, let's look at it. What kind of consciousness do you think our friend has? He has a lack consciousness, doesn't he? He doesn't want any more. He has a lack consciousness. And he was afraid. This man was hard. It was a hard, harsh man. He was afraid and he hid the talent. So the fear consciousness that he lived in, fear kept him from investing the energy. That was his level of consciousness. We know the laws of attraction. He was afraid, so he's going to draw what he's afraid of. The law of attraction. I'm afraid of the bear at my door. A bear will come to your door. In some way, shape, or form. Because we draw what we're afraid of. The law of cause and effect. He hid the talent. He lost the ability. He lost the talent. He hid the energy. He lost the energy. Clear? All right. He was afraid of the king. By his belief, he attracted the energy he feared. By hiding his energy, which was the cause, it is taken from him, which is the effect. So everything worked out beautifully, didn't it? According to divine order. Universal laws functioning here. All right. Realize this, when you hide, you're removing it from yourself. He wasn't hiding it from the king or the master. He's hiding it from himself. Do you really hear me? Okay. So, then in 29 it says, "For to him who has it shall be given, and it shall increase to him. But he who has not, even that which he has shall be taken away from him." Again, as a child, very harsh. Didn't sound like my loving God. But when we look at it, if you have a lack consciousness fed by fear, you will lose what you do have. If you have a prosperity consciousness, whatever level it is, encouraged by your investment of that energy, you will prosper. So the man who got the most was the one to whom that extra talent was magnetically drawn. Do you understand? How easy is all this good stuff? All right. Prosperity is a confident energy that says, I own my level of consciousness. Do y'all feel that about yourselves? I own my level of consciousness. Lack, which is fueled by fear, you're also owning that level of consciousness. Which means when someone says, don't be afraid, it rolls off you like it has no impact. Do you understand? When you are steeped in fear, you are owning that as solidly as someone who is confident and prosperous. So in this parable, the master might have represented the actual universe. The universe, how it supplies and supports us. The master could have represented your relationship with matter. But whatever the master represented, it certainly is how we feel ourselves functioning in the world. So, how we interact. So, which would you want to be?
The master?
I knew we'd have one. When you are ruling the world, but if we call the master that universal supply and support, which one of the interactors would you really want to be?
I want to be a 5.
A 5? All right. Does anybody want to be the 1? No. Okay. What if you're all 3?
Okay.
All right. When we look at it internally, that every level of consciousness is us. We have levels where we are a 5. We are cooking. We're confident. People know she's a 5 in that. She'll get it done. She will absolutely drop everything, invest everything she has and move it. Or guy, invest everything he has and move it. So everybody, can you think of where you are a 5?
Yeah.
Rocking and rolling, and people recognize you as that 5, don't they?
Yes.
And they ask you to volunteer your talents as that 5. Yeah. I want you to think with me for a minute. What about when you're a 2? Well, thinks you're a 2. I'm a 2 there. I'm a 2 there. You think of the stuff? And people go, I only need a little bit on that, so let me get my 2 people in here. I don't need someone taking the lead and making things happen. I need some supporters. Let me draw some 2 people. How much energy do you give when you're in your 2 energy? Maybe so. I got my so energy going on because I coast through my 2s. You know, I'm not having to shine. It's not my 5. Somebody else is a 5 at this. I'm just a 2. So I just coast. I give enough. I give enough to get my 2 equal investment back. And then there's 1. That 1 talent that you have, that someone sees in you, and says, how about? And what do you say? Oh. How did you see that anyway? I thought I had already buried that. No. And then you get dreams about something, or you get it from guidance. You really ought to try this. You really ought to step out. You really can't do that. And you immediately tell God, you picked the wrong person. I don't own that. I can't do that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So, when we don't want to do it, which is what the number one did not want to do, he let his fear keep him from investing. When we don't want to do it, we will bury it. And we'll bury it so uniquely that even we have a hard time finding it when the time comes. But why are we afraid? We're afraid because we don't want others to judge us. We're afraid because we might fail. We're afraid because we'll look funny. We're afraid because there's a 5 over there. There's a 5 over there. Get the 5. I can't do this. Get the 5. Any resonance going on out here? Okay.
Are you not seeing it?
Yeah, I just didn't want to do that. All right. What does not come naturally to you is an investment in your growth. Do you understand? If you're doing your 5, you're getting your 10, you're doing your 15, you're getting your 30, you're doing your 30, you're getting your 60, you're still in the same thing. You're doing the same thing. Yay, yay you. But have you expanded? I know now how to handle 60, but have I really expanded me? Maybe my same consciousness with 60 is the same as it was when I had 5. Maybe I haven't shifted. Maybe I don't know any more about myself. When it does not come naturally to you, and it is an innate desire within you, or talent you might have, or urging you might have, that you want to express, it is trying to help you grow. I've known a lot of people who write. It's just, it flows from them. I know one person who writes the most beautiful songs, lyrics in the world. They're gorgeous. Gorgeous. You don't know them. You'll never hear them. Because right now those lyrics are in the hands of a one. Do you understand?
Mhm.
If you heard some of the songs, you would be amazed. You would be awestruck. What do you have that's in the hands of your one? So you write a song, so you write a poem, so you do something and nobody even cares. I don't care that you did that. I'm not awestruck with what you did. Yay! Great! I am. I'm awestruck that I did it. I love myself that I did it. Do you understand?
Mhm.
It feels so good to let me invest in me if I want to do it. When we let our little guy that holds the one coin actually go out and take the energy into the world, and it's not going to hit big, it's going to hit big, it's one coin. It's the very beginning of an investment. We're not at 60 yet, we're at one coin. Take it out and just do something with it. Do something different. Invest in something that you have not mastered. And see how good you feel. A lot of you have had the experience of not wanting to teach the children downstairs because that's out of your consciousness. Those kids, I don't think so. And yet, we can see that you want to. That little desire is starting to come up. And then Cheryl works on you. And you take your little coin and you say, I'll do it once. I'll invest once in your fear. And then you go down and you blossom into absolute love for these children. Nobody knows you did that. Do they? Nobody knows you did that. But who knows? You do. And now you're prepared, and now you're learning, and now you're growing, and now you're becoming greater. And if you kept working that angle, you know, if you wanted to open a daycare in 10 years, you probably could. But maybe you want to learn something else. Maybe you want to go back in that place where you hid your talents and find another one. That was so good. That was so fun. Let me find something else and bring it out. And just a little bitty investment, that's all we need to do. Just itty bitty. And see what happens. Trying. Hiding equals losing. Hiding equals losing. Do you know how many people have come to me and said, I've got this great divine idea, I want to do blah, 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 blah. I said, that's fabulous. I'm afraid. Well, try not to be afraid. Why don't you give it a first step, something? They don't do anything. Guess what happens within 3 years? Someone else is doing it. It's in the ethers. Someone else is doing it. Now you're not the mother of this divine idea, you see. You have to let it go. Go back in, find, what else have I hidden there? What else am I keeping from myself? All right. And there are various ways that we hide. I just want to go over this very quickly in case you're not on board with me yet. Oftentimes, when you're feeling something stir within you, the first thing you do is you get sick. Oh, I can't do anything. I'm sick. Or you hurt yourself. Something funny happens to hinder your performance. Or we become victors to powers outside of ourselves. Our master is too harsh. I can't do that because my spouse will make fun of me. I can't do that because people will see that I'm vulnerable. I can't do that because the world won't accept it. I can't do that. If we are truly going to become the radiant children of God, serving the universe, loving and expanding and growing, we get more growth out of doing the one energy in our world than our five. We grow, we expand, we laugh, we become greater, we become calmer, because we don't have that unfulfilled energy within us. All right. These energies that we bury aren't really dreams, they're talents. They're very viable talents. We don't want to lose our opportunities, and we don't want to lose our desires. We want to be as equally honoring of the little things we're not that good at as the things we are good at. And if you're really scared, find a 5. Find a 5 at what you do. Have them guide you. If you're really uncomfortable, but do something to let yourself begin to grow greater. As you invest in you, your world expands beyond your current level of consciousness. And isn't that what we want to do? We want to grow beyond our current level of consciousness, not just for money. Everybody wants money. Money, money, money. If you have money here and money here, these are levels of income, and you haven't changed consciousness, you're the same. You're the same. I had a conversation many years ago with a relative, distant, who is a millionaire, a multiple millionaire. And she said to me, we were going into hard times as a world right before the big recession hit, and she said, I'm having just as much hard a time as you are, because I'm as tight on my budget as you are. I went, really? I wouldn't be. If I had that kind of resources, I probably wouldn't be that tight. But it was like, no matter where I live, I'm going to be who I am. So we're not expanding consciousness, we're not growing. So you expand where you are, right where you are, right where you are. So you can then be invited into the Master's joy. How can the creative universe support you when you're hiding your talent? When you pull that talent out and you say, okay, universe, join me up here. I'm going to do it. Now we have the beautiful support. And we are not alone. We're not alone. I hope you felt that beautiful love of God when we first meditated, when we first got here. Did you feel yourself expanding? You're not alone. But there's a wealth of reserved talents, I shall say. So, shall we go and just open the door? All right. Put your feet on the floor. Feel that beautiful energy of God's love surrounding and supporting you. God. We open our hearts. And I ask that a beautiful, beautiful column of light just come over each one so you are safe in your own thoughts. You're not aware of the person on either side. And I want you to notice the color of your column. What color is it? Breathe it in. And I want you to feel your body. Feel your heart. And in your heart say, I love God. And I am not afraid. I want you to lift up that column of light just a little bit into the greater light. Feel that Jesus Christ comes to meet you. Take him by the hand. And I want you to focus on your energy again. How do I feel when I'm in my 5 self? Feel the energy. I am feeling my 5 self. Do you feel the strength come? The confidence? Can you feel that? God, thank you for my 5 self. Thank you for this prosperity consciousness that I own. I own this. Let's let it go. Feel yourself being just spirit, just standing with Jesus Christ, letting it go. Look in his eyes. Feel his tremendous love and support for you. All right, take a breath back to you. Let me know how I feel when I'm in my 2 consciousness. The things I do at the level 2. Maybe you're not quite as intense. Maybe you're not quite as focused. Can you feel the difference? But it's okay, isn't it? I'm prosperous. I love my 2. Do you like your 2? It's easy. 2 is easy. So easy. I'm not in charge. I'm just so peaceful. Take a breath. Let it go. Focus back on Jesus Christ. Look in his eyes. You might see a little chuckle in his eyes, a little laughter, as he's just loving you. And let your focus come back to your body now. I would like to feel the energy of my 1 self. When I have 1 talent that needs to be birthed within me, and I'm afraid. Can you feel it? Is it heavier? Is it darker? Is there less light? Can you even feel the hand of Jesus that you hold? Realize this is your energy as well. And realize you can shift it in this moment. Feel the hand of Jesus Christ and feel a spark within your heart. And I want you to take a breath and say the word try. I will try. And as you say that, does your heart shift? Can you feel the lightness? I'm not saying I have to succeed. I will try. Breathe and feel the love. And ask that that beautiful love of Jesus Christ fill you and stimulate your heart and let it begin to shine right here in this consciousness. Feel the light moving from your heart out into the consciousness. The door opens simply by trying. Feel the light opening. Can you feel it filling you? Can you feel the light becoming stronger and brighter? Do you want to own this consciousness? Ask yourself. Imagine you have 1 talent in your hand, a little coin, a little something that represents a desire within you. I will own this level of consciousness of trying. I will invest my energy and I will not hide. If you can say those words inside, you'll feel the light becoming stronger and brighter. And then feel the energy of the 5 self moving back within you, the energy of the 2 self moving back within you, and feel it's all one. feel that everything is harmonious now. You are harmonious in all of your talents and abilities. Look at Jesus Christ again. And just say, I am ready. Not to take the world by storm, but to expand who I am. I am ready. Feel His love. Feel His hug. Feel all the energy coming into harmony within you. And just very gently let yourself come back. Coming back, feeling the chair supporting you. Feeling the peace around you. Breathe. We love you, God, so much. And we thank you for all of the hidden treasure that we will reveal. Breathe, send your love into the room. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. You know what crystals look like before they rub them, and they're kind of like raw stones? That's what I see all out here. All these stones coming to the surface, just waiting to get polished up. Just waiting to become that brilliant light. And they'll be polished by your hands, by your energy. Do you feel connected? Do you feel ready? Say, yeah, God.
Yeah.